welcome to the Movie Cheer podcast, everyone. I am your host, AP, aka Mr. Movie Cheer, and it is another edition of the show today. And today is a special edition today of the Movie Cheer pod. We are doing a Super Bowl movie special today on the show, which is going to be a real big deep dive into American football movies. We call it American football. I imagine if you're from the States, you just call it football. But yeah, we call it American football over here, or NFL. Big weekend if you're a sports fan, with the NFL this coming Sunday. I'm going to discuss 4 American football-based movies on today's show. I'm also going to do a bit of a predictions on the Super Bowl this Sunday as well. I'm not like a big NFL fan, but I do like watching the Super Bowl every year just for the event. I think it's a really superb event, with the halftime show for one, which is always fantastic. You've got the movie trailers which release and stuff like that during the show as well, which is cool. You get some really good movie trailers coming out. And I think it's just a big, it's one of those events that I think you don't necessarily have to be a sports fan, and you don't have to like that particular sport and follow it, because it's just like, it's kind of like, I always say like with wrestling, I think if you're not a wrestling fan but you watch like a WrestleMania or a Royal Rumble, there's a certain, how can you feel? There's a certain aura around the event where it just brings in everyone to watch, because it's just, it goes over just being a football game. It becomes this a spectator event where it's music, it's movies, it's sport, it's everything rolled into one, kind of like WrestleMania, where it's got all that big star-studded feel where everyone has something for everyone, really. That's what I'm kind of getting at here. I'm stumbling upon my words, but that is what I'm getting at. So, as I said, today's show, we're going to give you 4 movies, American football-based movies, and that I think you would particularly enjoy. I think there'll be some good choices, hopefully, and we're going to do the rest of the regular show as well. So let's get into today's show. Before we get to today's headline topic, I'm going to do a part of the show called Not So Worthy Blockbuster Housekeeping. This is the part of the show where we ease into things and we discuss what's going on with the Movie Cheer Town community, what's going on with the channel, and it's just a general chit-chat, easing us in to the rest of today's Super Bowl special show. So, let's get down to it. Not so worthy blockbuster housekeeping for this week. What's been going on with the channel, with the community? First of all, I will say we had a new video hit this week. The latest video came out on Thursday, and the topic was, should you collect DVDs in 2022? We've been doing it on the Movie Cheer podcast channel, the YouTube channel, over the past couple of weeks, diving into them movie collection topical videos, and I'll be honest with you, I've had a big load of fun doing this. It's been fun just doing it, deep and diving into these topics. I just love exploring these topics and just really getting into the nitty gritty of them, and also just hearing what the rest of the community thinks of these topics as well. We had a lot of great feedback on that video, a lot of interaction from the community in the comments, which is always great. So big thumbs up to everyone for getting involved in that video. DVDs, I'm still a big fan of DVDs. Got them behind me. Never got into Blu-rays or 4Ks or anything like that. I think sometimes it's good to take a step back and go back into the retro, or stay in the retro sometimes, because there's some good things that get missed out because something new comes out. And I'm a great believer in retro games. I mean, the thing is with just physical media, movies, games, whatever it may be, it's always on to the next big thing. And I think sometimes it's good to just take a pause, isn't it? And just to, realize that like some of the stuff from like 10, 15, 20 years ago is still pretty good. And that goes for like video games, movies, electrical equipment, There's just too much content and too much stuff that's getting released regularly now, and you just need to sometimes take a pause and stuff, I think. And yeah, I enjoyed doing that video. It was great to see the community really give their thoughts on that video, and I just want to say thank you to everyone for getting involved in that one. So that was an awesome new video on the channel this week. What else has been going on with the Movie Cheer Town community? I gotta say, I featured on a live stream this week. Mr. Movie Cheer representing the Movie Cheer community on John Mondo Chelloveck Movies, his channel. John runs that channel. He is discussing movies, physical media. Awesome channel. I just want to say, if you've not checked out John's channel before, Mondo Chelloveck Movies, I'm going to link it in below. But he invited me on his live stream, basically to give a bit more context to this. John featured on the 50th show of the Movie Cheer podcast, the Saturday Movie Show, as it was then known last year. I think it was September time. And I asked John onto that feed and onto that stream on that video, and along with the other great collaborators on that video as well. And John featured on that, and then since then we've been chatting online, and he said he was hoping to do some live streams in the new year, and he did one at the start of the year. I think it was in January. He did one with Euphoria Pictures, and he asked me to come on as the second guest on his live stream. And honestly, really nice of him, first of all, to ask me to go on. Didn't expect to go on, and because I think there's so many great people out there, so many talented people who he could have asked before, put me on the second, and I really appreciate him inviting me on to be the second guest on his live stream show. What I can say, we did a 4-hour show, which was unreal. He was saying, we were talking beforehand, before doing it, and he said, maybe we'll aim for 2 to 3 hours. Let's try and go for that mark, because I think the one prior to that went about 4 hours as well. And it's look, if you can go for 4 hours talking, that's cool. But 4 hours is a long time, isn't it? I think that is an amazing, a crazy amount of time. I mean, if you were watching it for the full 4 hours, kudos to you, because it is a long time to watch. But we had a great time. 4 hours. We went into the first 30 minutes, and it was after that, I think after the hour mark, it just flew by. We were just chatting about movies. The chat was super engaging. The chat was just constant. We've asked conversations between people, questions in the chat, which was awesome as well. I gotta say, I was a bit nervous beforehand. I was a bit nervous going on, and I think with just any of these live streams, I said to John, I was for me, it's exciting nerves. I was excited, and it was just giving me these butterflies in the stomach. And John was super welcoming, put me at ease, and we had a little bit of a laugh at the start of it because the stream wasn't recording at first, and then we finally got into it. But honestly, I said it before, said it to John as well. He's an excellent host, is John. He's got a great channel. He knows his movies. I mean, some of the topics he was getting into, the movies, I had not even heard of, and he was really just educating me on these. And that's what I like about John. It was not if you don't know about a movie, and I asked him about certain movies because I didn't know about them, and he educated, he told me about the movies, and super knowledgeable film, and just generally a nice guy, which is awesome. So check out John's channel, Mondo Chelloveck Movies. I also want to say a big thank you to, I noticed a few names from the Movie Cheer Town community in the chat on that live stream as well. So thank you for everyone who was repping Movie Cheer Town. It was awesome to see the names that I know in there as well. And also it was, again, thank you to everyone in the chat who was super welcoming as well, who may not know who I am. I'm sure there's I think there was a load of people in that chat who probably never heard of me before, heard of the channel, and it was awesome to feel so welcomed on that live stream. So big thank you to John, Mondo Chelloveck Movies. If you've not checked out his channel, check it out. Check out his videos and give him a subscribe because he's got an awesome channel and he's a great guy. I want to just also, before we close off the not so worthy Blockbuster housekeeping for this week, I just want to say we've had a bunch of new subs over the past 2 weeks. We've had a ton of new subs with the movie collection videos, and we're doing the live stream with John this past week as well. Look, we've had tons of new subs. It's been crazy the amount of subscribers have been joining the community. I just want to say, if this is your first time to the show, welcome to the community. I want to say, get involved in the community as well. Get involved in the comments section if you haven't already. We've got a really nice bunch of people here in our community, and it is just, a great place to get involved with discussions with other people about physical media, about movies, about home theatre topics. Get involved. Just throw out any questions that you want to ask about the movies, or questions. Someone in there will start a discussion. I'll start discussions, and that's the great thing about this. We're all movie fans. We're all fans of home theatres, physical media, and we all just want to discuss it. So let's just get in the comments, get involved, and welcome to the community. So that is the not-so-worthy Blockbuster housekeeping out the way for today's show. Let's move on with the headline topic. So the headline topic, Super Bowl movie special. We're going to get into 4 movies, but I just want to, before we get into that main headline topic of discussing 4 American football movies, I want to give a bit of a predictions on the Super Bowl for this Sunday, the actual game itself, and what movie trailers I'm most excited to see. And so, I gotta say, like I said, I only watch the one game a year. I watch the Super Bowl every year. It's just, I suppose, because British guy, I know it's definitely more available nowadays. It's probably on every channel going, the Super Bowl, get the NFL season games, but it's just one of those where I follow wrestling and soccer, football, UK football, and it's just not having time to have another sport to watch. So that's probably why I've just not really got into watching a full season of NFL. But I'm going to make a prediction purely on the basis of names. So that gives you an insight to how little I know about the season as it is, and about the form going into this Super Bowl this Sunday. So we got the Cincinnati Bengals, got that right, versus the Los Angeles Rams. And I am going to go for the Los Angeles Rams. They're going to be my choice. I just like the name more. I think Los Angeles Rams, just purely because I really struggle to say Cincinnati. It's a bit of a tongue twister. So I'm going to go with Los Angeles Rams. You got to pick a team, haven't you? Let me know who your pick is for this weekend in the comments. But yeah, I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Rams. Let's talk about trailers. I know there's been rumoured and there's been confirmed there's going to be a few different trailers. I know there's going to be a Black Adam one. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 trailer, that's going to happen. I imagine there's probably going to be a Batman trailer. And what else have we got coming out? We could get a Doctor Strange trailer. That could potentially come. Even though we've already had one, I mean, a new one. I imagine all these big movies are definitely going to have some sort of something there for the Super Bowl game in the trailer section. I got to be honest, I'm looking forward to seeing the Black Adam trailer. I think that's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing this project as a whole, because I like the Shazam movie. I've read one of the Shazam comics from the New 52 where it features Black Adam, and I really like that character. I like The Rock. I think The Rock's eggs, or Dwayne Johnson, and I think he's going to be excellent in that role. It's going to be interesting to see what story they go with. It looks like it's going to be a bit of a team-up movie with a few different other superheroes as well. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be great, and I'm hoping we're going to get a real good first look trailer for Black Adam. So that's going to be one I'm very much looking forward to. The halftime show, I think, is it Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Fudo, who else was it? I can't remember, was The Weeknd was in there. But yeah, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre. I remember, isn't Dr. Dre was in some rap group? I was thinking they were in the same rap group, but Snoop Dogg wasn't a part of the group, was he, of rappers that were in what's his name, Dr. Dre's group. I can't think. I'll be honest here, I'm really bad with rap music. I don't really know much about rap music in general, but I will watch it anyway, even not as a fan of rap music. I just love the spectacle, even though I'm not into that style of music, that genre of music. So I'm looking forward to it either way. I think it'll be awesome. I really enjoyed The Weeknd. I think it was last year. The Weeknd is awesome. I'd love to see The Weeknd if he was playing again. I only know Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg are the two confirmed names I've got in my head at the moment. But yeah, it's going to be ace. I think it's going to be an awesome show. And yeah, they're my predictions. Los Angeles Rams and Black Adam 2 are my picks for the best trailer and the winners of the Super Bowl this Sunday. Now, let's move on to the headline topic for today's show. Super Bowl movie special, 4 picks for this movie special episode. I'm going to give you 4 American football movies. So let's go with it. First of all, I'm going to start off with a movie that was released in 2006, and this is a movie called Invincible, starring Mark Wahlberg. It also features Elizabeth Banks as well. Look, this is a true story, basically. It was produced by Disney, this movie as well, 2006 movie Invincible. Mark Wahlberg stars in this true story about a guy called Vince Papelli, and basically it's set in 1976. And the team at the time is the Philadelphia Eagles, NFL team. And basically, a new coach comes in. They've not been doing well, this team, prior to this event, prior to this recruitment of this new coach. And they bring this new coach in. And what happens, basically, he decides to have an open tryout for the people of Philadelphia, anyone who wants to come along to try and join the team. So basically, a lot of people think it's a bit of like a publicity stunt, and maybe it was really. But basically, you get this guy called Vince Papelli, who's down on his luck. He's a substitute teacher who loses his job. He is then a part-time bartender as well. He works in a bar that basically looks like Cheers. It looks like the set of Cheers. It's awesome. I love that. I was like, that looks like there was some inspiration from the TV show Cheers. But basically, Mark Wahlberg's character Vince Papelli in this, he ends up going to the tryout because he plays like amateur football with his friends after work, and he's never went to college or anything like that. He's a 30-year-old guy, so he's like a guy that's way past the point of becoming an NFL star. You obviously do it when you're younger. You go from like college to joining the NFL when you're like maybe early 20s, I would say. And he gets picked up by the coach. The coach spots him, realizes he's got super good speed. And then he becomes a linebacker or a receiver, I think it is. One who runs and catches the ball. And basically, he gets signed up. He goes through the boot camp. He becomes like a local celebrity because he is the only one who gets recruited in this one day of tryouts, which features thousands of people going to the stadium. And then he goes through this grueling boot camp and he becomes an NFL player. And it's got a really good, feel-good ending to this story. I would say for me, it's a very underdog story, an underdog to rise to fame story, that sort of story. I think it's a really good film as well. One I had heard of before, but never watched until this week. And honestly, a really good film, good performance from Mark Wahlberg, a great cast all in all, and I would say this gets a Mr. Movie Cheer family seal of approval, this one, definitely. It's one that everyone in the family could watch, and I think it's a good movie to get you in the mood for the Super Bowl this week. And I love that story, just like, I imagine it in like UK football, if there was a guy coming in at 30 years old. That is like, you get into the point near retirement age in sport at that point in UK football. Obviously, it may be a bit different in American football, but I can't imagine it is massively different. He went on, Vince Papelli, to have 3 seasons with the Philadelphia Eagles, and then he retired. But 3 seasons from a guy who come out of nowhere to doing that is pretty awesome. Now, I don't know what his stats were, his form over them 3 seasons, but look, the guy got a film. He was obviously a well-known name in the States. I think it's a really fun movie, a good family movie to get you in the mood for Super Bowl Sunday. Let's move on to my second choice today. My second choice goes to The Longest Yard. This is the 1974 version, because I know there was a 2005 remake, and we had the UK remake, which was titled Mean Machine. 1974 version stars Burt Reynolds as an ex-NFL quarterback, and he's been retired for about 8 years, and he's a bit of a drinker, this guy, and he's basically he gets done for drink driving and stuff like that. He gets sent to prison, and he's like this former like massive star who got done for like doing he was like he done an illegal betting. Basically, someone must have betted, and he sort of threw the game out for betting reasons, for money, basically, and everyone sort of like knows him as this big star who he plays this star Paul Wrecking Crew. That's his nickname, Wrecking, and he obviously call him Wrecking Crew. But basically, this is a great Burt Reynolds performance. I like Cannonball Run is one movie over the past couple of years I've really got into, and I think if you like that sort of movie, you will like The Longest Yard. If you've watched the UK version, Mean Machine, you will know the story. It is the same story. Famous sports star goes to prison. The warden in the prison decides, he wants him to start a team of the prisoners to take on the guards, and they arrange this pre-season friendly between all the prison inmates and all the guards' American football team. And the conclusion is the big game at the end, and it's fun. It's just a fun comedy movie. There's definitely some drama moments in the story for sure, but overall, I think it's a great film. I've never watched the Adam Sandler remake, so I can't really comment on that, or I might have seen bits of it a few years back, but in comparison to the UK version, which I know more so, the Mean Machine movie, I gotta be honest, I do prefer the Burt Reynolds film more than the Vinnie Jones UK football remake. I think it's a really good film, really entertaining, and it's well worth checking out. So that is The Longest Yard, released in 1974. Next movie I want to discuss is Remember the Titans, a 2000 release, and this stars Denzel Washington. The story is set in 1971. Now, basically, this is another Disney produced movie. Denzel Washington plays a coach. This is a true story. A coach named Coach Boone. And basically, this is set during a time in the 1970s where there's a lot of racial tensions in America. Look, it's we know of the history. If you look in the history books, you can read about American history, and obviously racial issues, racial tensions, very prominent in American history, as well in UK history, but I think definitely more prominent in US history. But this is a really a good movie that really tackles a really important issue, but has some really tragic moments as well, but also some really uplifting moments as well, this movie. So basically, the plot of the story is you have all the schools in the area are all like white only schools, and or white people only schools, or black people only schools, and basically they have the school district decide that they want to stop this, and they want to get rid of the racial tensions. They're going to join up a school of white only students and black only students, and integrate that school so you have black and white people working in the same school and working together to try and ease racial tensions in the area. And basically, the coach, who is called Coach Yost, played by Will Patton in the movie, is the coach of the white only school. And basically, he is then Denzel Washington's coach of Coach Boone, comes to that school, and he's told he's the assistant manager. It soon turns out that then he's promoted to manager based on racial issues. They want to have a man who is a black man to coach the team of white and black people. And basically, the old coach Yost basically is told he can have an assistant manager's role on the defensive team under Denzel Washington's character of Coach Boone. He reluctantly takes on the role because a lot of the players of white, the white players want him to return, and they won't work for Denzel Washington's Coach Boone. So then he comes back as the assistant manager. Basically, they go on a boot camp, they bond, and there's obviously struggles at first where you have a coach full of white people, a coach full of black people. They don't want to integrate with each other. They don't like each other. There's obviously a big racial divide between both people, both groups, both school groups. And you see them become friends, and you see this, like, at first they despise each other, all the different players, and then because of Coach Boone's tactics as a coach and trying to make them all bond together on the boot camp, they bond, and then you see them return from the boot camp, and there's still obviously racial tensions, and then we see them going on this road to the state championships final, and basically, it's got a really, like I said, some really big ups and downs in this story, but there's I think if you watch Remember the Titans, there's a really big moment in the movie, which really, I'll be honest with you, it left me nearly, I'm not a guy who gets teary, but it kind of give me that, like, feeling of, like, wow, that was really, that really touched me in some way. That really gave me like a spine tingling moment, a certain moment in the movie, the emotion of it, and really emotional movie, I would say, near the end of it. Really a great movie. Honestly, never watched this before, but heard it recommended to me a few times. Remember the Titans, 2000 release. Really important issue of racial issues, tackled in this story as well, which I think is super important. And well worth checking out. It's also got a great soundtrack, a really good score, but some really good songs from like Motown, soul. We got some Marvin Gaye, we got some Temptations in there. And you got some like Cat Stevens, then Creedence. I forgot the name again. Creedence Clearwater Revival. That's it. Yes, I got it, Paul. I got the name. I was on a show. I think it was last week. I couldn't remember the name of Creedence Clearwater Revival, and Paul from Oz corrected me. Give me the title, the name. But some great songs in the soundtrack, but a really great movie as well. Now let's get on to the final movie of today's choices. This is a movie released in 2004, and the movie is Friday Night Lights. This movie stars Billy Bob Thornton as the coach of a team called Permian High School. Basically, he's brought in as the new coach, and they want to win the Texas State Championship in the NFL, in the college league leading up to the Texas State final. And basically, this is a town where they are all, they love the football, and everyone is like saying to these young kids, are you going to win the state championship? They're all obsessed with it, and they all just want to win, and this new coach is feeling the pressure. And this is a very realistic drama, I would say. It's a true story, based on a true story, a realistic drama, look at the season of this high school team trying to go for the championship. What I can say, I've heard the name Friday Night Lights mentioned a ton of the times over the years, and I knew it from being a TV show. And that's where I'd always heard it. And just every couple of years, I'd hear that mentioned. Friday Night Lights, but never checked it out. And only until this last week, realizing that this was a movie before it was a TV show. So I think the TV show began in 2006, and it ran for a couple of seasons. But I think a lot of that is fictionalized, whereas this movie is based on the true story, and it's kind of set in its own canon rather than the TV show is very different by the sound. So that's what I get from reading a few things online last night. But it's in its own little timeline. It's a great story. I'm not going to spoil the ending, but it comes to a really, like an explosive. Well, yeah, I'm not going to spoil the ending because if I say anything too much, I'm going to spoil the ending. But basically, really, it deals with the players on the team, all the difficulties. There's one guy who's a star player, he gets injured, and basically his career's over. That's not a big spoiler because that happens early on, but there's things like one of the guys, his dad just like beats him up mentally, and one of the guys, one of his parents is suffering certain issues at home and stuff like this, and you see all these young players who are dealing with the fact like they might not go to college, they might not join the NFL. This might be the last game they ever do if they get to the finals. They know they have to work as hard as possible in this last game. You see all the turbulent season of an a college football team, and it's just filmed really well. You get into the story, and the dialogue is super real. It grips you, the dialogue. You feel like you're in the scenes with this movie. I felt it was really a really great movie, and I thought I'd leave this one to last because Friday Night Lights is, honestly, it gets a thumbs up from me. I think it's a terrific movie and well worth checking out if you want to get in the mood for Super Bowl Sunday, ladies and gents. So, Friday Night Lights, 2004 release, a movie set in the 1988 season, and it is a fantastic film to check out. Well worth checking out. Billy Bob Thornton as well. Not seen him in many movies over the years, but this really made me think, wow, this guy is a really good actor. Superb performance from him as the coach as well. A guy who is kind of quite quiet at times during the story, a bit stoic at times, but when he needs to motivate the team, he motivates them. He really does. He's a storyteller. He can motivate them with anger. He really rises to the occasion as a coach and as a performer from Billy Bob Thornton. Great movie, Friday Night Lights, and that is the end of today's headline topic. Let's move on with the next section of the show. So now we move on to a part of the show titled Movies for the Weekend. This is the part of the show where I give you some movie recommendations for this weekend. So I've got two choices here. I mentioned that, John mentioned this on his live stream the other day on Mondo Chelloveck Movies, and he mentioned the Grease movie, and I think I heard this briefly before, but I totally forgot about it. But they are doing a TV show prequel to Grease, which I'll be honest with you, I'm not super excited to hear about. It just doesn't sound something that I'd be keen on watching. I don't think I'd ever get around to watching it, but it just made me think, look, how good is Grease as a movie? Well worth checking out. Grease, superb musical. I love Grease. I think it is just probably one of my favourite. Between that and Wizard of Oz, definitely. I'm trying to think of Mary Poppins as well. That's a pretty good one. But Grease is a fantastic musical. Well worth checking out if you've never checked out Grease. But if you have, check it out this weekend if you're looking for something to watch this weekend. Another one I want to discuss as well is, this is one I give a rewatch recently, Star Wars The Last Jedi. Look, I'll be honest, when I watched it at first, I thought it was a decent movie. There was certain bits I didn't like, but on a second watch, third watch, I've enjoyed it even more so. I've watched it a few times now, and I think it does get better. It's like a fine wine, isn't it? This movie. For some people, maybe some people still feel that this isn't a movie for them. It's not the Star Wars movie for them. But I quite enjoyed it. I think it's a very different movie from a lot of the other Star Wars films. I think The Force Awakens was very much a reboot of, and it was very much a very similar movie to A New Hope. Whereas this one, I think a lot of people were expecting Empire Strikes Back, and I think Empire Strikes Back, they say, what type of movie? Empire Strikes Back is a very different movie to A New Hope. And this is a very different movie to Force Awakens. It's also equally a very different movie to any other Star Wars movie out there, I think. And I think it's a really good movie. I think it was a good, Rian Johnson tried to do something different. And I think some of the Star Wars community maybe just didn't enjoy it. It was too different. They didn't like the portrayal of Luke Skywalker. I actually don't think the portrayal is that bad. I don't mind where he ends in this movie, personally. But everyone's got their own point of view, and I think it's good to maybe just check out again. If you've not watched it in a while, check out The Last Jedi. But anyway, that is the movies for the weekend section over for today's show. Let's move on with the rest of the show. And now we move on to the next part of the show, titled Amazon Top 10. We look at the physical media movie releases, the bestsellers list, the top 10 on Amazon. And this is in Blu-ray, DVD, and 4K releases. Let's go for the Amazon Top 10 for this week. We've got, at number 10, we've got the DVD of Venom, Let There Be Carnage. At number 9, we have the Eternals DVD. Number 8, we have the Blu-ray of Ghostbusters Afterlife. Ghostbusters Afterlife, great movie, by the way. At number 7, the DVD release of Ghostbusters Afterlife. At number 6, No Time to Die, James Bond Blu-ray release. Number 5, we have the 4K of Dune. And number 4, we have the DVD of Dune. And number 3, we have the Blu-ray of Dune. And wow, the day has come. Dum 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 dum. No Time to Die is off the number 1 place. This is tragic. So yeah, No Time to Die is the DVD is at number 2. It's finally I put out an article this week on the moviecheerpodcast.com and just saying how long is No Time to Die going to be at number 1 of Amazon Top 10, and it's been dethroned. And I will tell you, the number 1 now in the Amazon Top 10 is a DVD release of Disney's Encanto. Encanto, that is right. I've heard a lot of people mention this movie recently. It's been getting a lot of buzz. I've not yet checked it out, but I will certainly be checking out soon. But Encanto has now dethroned No Time to Die on the Amazon Top 10 list. I didn't think the day would ever come. I thought it was going to be there forever. But the day has come. A new king or queen sits on the throne of the Amazon Top 10. And that is the Amazon Top 10 over for this week. Let's move on to what's been on the screen. So what's been on the screen for this week? This is the part of the show where I discuss what I've been watching, what I've been playing, whatever it is that's been on my screen this week. I will say, first of all, we had the Jurassic World Dominion trailer came out this week, and I thought it was brilliant. I really enjoyed it. I think some of these movies I'm not like a super massive Jurassic World, Jurassic Park fan, but this really excited me, this trailer. I liked the last movie. I thought the last movie was very different and it offered something new, whereas the first Jurassic World was very similar to Jurassic Park. But this one, it looks brilliant. It looks brilliant. Basically, it's going to be the epic grand conclusion to the Jurassic Park franchise and the Jurassic World movies as well. It brings in, the old cast of the Jurassic Park movies, with the new cast as well, which is great. And basically, it looks to me like this has now become Dinosaur of the Apes, Planet of the Dinosaurs, basically, Planet of the Apes version of Jurassic World, and we're living now in this world where dinosaurs now are running riot on Earth. They're living in Earth side by side with humans, basically. But basically, I say side by side, it's the human race is coming to an end because dinosaurs are running the world again now. They're starting to multiply across the world, and obviously we are now the species that is, in threat of extinction. And basically, this is what the plot of this movie is going to be. Is it going to be are they going to try and destroy all the dinosaurs? Are they just going to try and survive? Or are they going to try and live alongside dinosaurs? It'll be an interesting story, but I loved the trailer. I loved seeing the dinosaur, for one, which had bird feathers on. That was cool. It just looked cool. It looked like a decent film. It looked exciting to see the original movie stars return as well, alongside the new stars. I'm looking forward to seeing this. I do hope it is kind of like a conclusion to all the franchises and they don't end up doing another one. I imagine it's one of those where if they're making money, there's always going to be another sequel or some sort of spin-off at some point. I can't imagine they'd just leave the Jurassic World, Jurassic Park property just to rot away. I'm sure, like every successful property, they'll want to do more movies eventually. But I hope it just gives us a fitting conclusion to these two franchises. I think that'll be awesome to see. But check it out. Well, we're checking out that trailer. Really fun trailer. The new Lightyear trailer hit this week as well. It's shown basically Buzz Lightyear. This is the Chris Evans spin-off. It's like a prequel to the Toy Story movies, where it shows the real life character the toy was based on, the Buzz Lightyear astronaut. Chris Evans' title is doing the voice of Buzz as well. And basically, this trailer was, again, another fun trailer for this movie. It comes out, I think it's in June, and I'm looking forward to this one. Pixar movie. It's shown in this movie as well that Buzz has this like robotic pet cat on him to give him sort of like someone to talk to, and I imagine that's going to be like the baby Groot, the baby Yoda of this movie, this cat, and you're probably going to get loads of toys being made of this cat that talks. It's a talking cat, so that looks quite good. We also seen what the villains of the piece is going to look like. So it looks like it's going to be like the villain is Zurg. Is it Zurg from the Toy Story movies, or it's going to be based on that character? That's going to be exciting as well. But it looks like I think it's going to be a really... Look, the trailers look amazing. The trailers look amazing for this movie, and I hope the movie lives up to the potential of what the trailers are showing us, because it looks exciting. As a fan of like the Toy Story franchise, this looks really fun. Last thing I want to touch upon today is the Boba Fett, the Book of Boba Fett finale this past week. Look, I just want to do a bit of a roundup on the whole series as a whole and the finale. So the spoilers ahead if you've not watched the finale or any of the previous episodes. Of spoilers in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go for some spoilers, ladies and gents. So, what did I think of the finale? I think it was a good finale, but I will say, I think because the last 2 episodes of this season were just mesmerizing because of the appearances of Luke Skywalker and R2-D2 and the Mandalorian Din Djarin, Baby Yoda Grogu. It kind of, for me, it went to the high point in the last episode, and this episode was kind of just dipped a bit, and it felt like it wasn't a grand... It felt like we had all the highs in the last episode, and the shine went off the last episode, and it wasn't that it was a bad episode. I think the finale was good. I enjoyed the confrontation between the Pike Syndicate and obviously Boba Fett and his little army of the city, you know, like all the different civilizations in the city. And it was good. And I like that confrontation between Boba Fett and Cad Bane at the end. I thought that was good. I thought Cad Bane was really good, really well utilized, and I'm sure... I don't think he's dead. I think he will definitely return in the future. I think as well. I think he had like a life. I remember seeing a video briefly the other day where he has like a life support thing, what bleeps, and it was still bleeping at the end. So it's like question mark: is he dead? I'm sure is probably a character that's going to return at some point. I wouldn't be surprised, and especially with doing all these different Star Wars shows now, and it's obviously a hugely popular character from the animated shows, and for them to kill him off in 2 episodes, I can't see that being very likely. I will say as well the post-credit bit with Cobb Vanth in the tank who was recovering. I didn't even know it was him. I had to Google that. I couldn't even see it. I couldn't tell it was Timothy Olyphant. But I'm glad he's alive because I like his character. But yeah, I think it was a good finale, but it really let itself down in a way because it had such a grand 2 episodes before it, and kind of just deflated the finale a bit. I think if they put a bit more of that stuff into the finale, it would have made it a bit more exciting. But I think overall, it's been a very mixed... I feel mixed about the show because I enjoyed it, but again, them 2 episodes felt very... I mean, Boba Fett wasn't even in the last... Not this episode, but I mean the previous 2 episodes before that. Was it 5 and 6? He was featured in, I think, number 6 at the very end. And number 5, I don't even think he featured. It felt like it was growing this good storyline at the first few episodes of Boba Fett with the Tusken Raiders and this syndicate and this crime story. And then it just switched to a totally different plot where it made no sense. But it kind of like, the way it's justified in the story, it's like bringing in Mandalorian, Din Djarin into the story is to help Boba Fett. And then obviously Grogu comes into the story as well to help them as well at the end. But it just felt like it shifted gears too much, and it went into, you know, too much fanfare. Even though I loved seeing Luke Skywalker, I think that would have been better utilized if they put that in the Mandalorian show. I think it would have made more sense. And it feels like to me, this, you know, the whole premise of this now is, and for future storylines with these characters, this was Mandalorian season 2.5. 2.5. It wasn't Mandalorian season 3, but it was definitely a bridging series between Boba Fett and Mandalorian, because it told us the story of at the end, the Mandalorian Din Djarin and Grogu reuniting, and obviously Grogu deciding to leave Luke Skywalker and go with the Mandalorian. And obviously, I imagine they're going to touch upon that maybe in some sort of flashback or just a little pre-show title at the start of the Mandalorian season 3. But it was, for me, a Mandalorian 2.5 series. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but I think it just drawn away the eyes upon what the show was really building up to be in the first couple of episodes of Boba Fett. And look, overall, I had a great time. As a Star Wars fan, it was great. Seeing Luke Skywalker was great. I just think it shifted a bit too much, but maybe that's going to be the thing with these shows. Maybe they're going to do it very similar to what the CW does with the Supergirl, the Flash, the Arrow shows, where they have these big team-up episodes, and they're very much interlinked series in a way. And maybe that's the way they approach it moving forward, and we're going to see in The Mandalorian, maybe we'll get an episode where it's solely focused on Boba Fett and his endeavours. Maybe that is the future for what we see in the Star Wars TV show universe on Disney+. Either way, I think it's an exciting time to be a Star Wars fan. I've said this in the movie cheer community. It's an awesome time if you're watching Star Wars now. I think there's a lot of buzz around Star Wars, and personally, I'm excited to see what is next when it comes to Star Wars, which will be Obi-Wan Kenobi. I think it's May 15th it's been released now. That's going to be very exciting to see. But anyway, that's what's been on my screen. What's been on the screen this week? That is the end of today's show. If you enjoyed this podcast today, please do give it a like and leave a comment if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening to it on a podcast app of your choice, thank you very much for listening on that. And please do leave a review. We will read out all reviews on the show, providing the nice. I mean, if it's something really nasty, I'm not going to read it out, am I? But yeah, in general, we'll read all reviews, podcast reviews. So leave a review. It really helps the podcast to grow even more so, in the Movie Cheer Town community to grow also. But yeah, it's been a fun show today, Super Bowl special. I really enjoyed today's show. I'm looking forward to the Super Bowl this Sunday. I hope you enjoyed the Super Bowl American football movie choices for today's show. Let me know what your picks are for this Sunday. Who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl? And what are some American football movies that you enjoy? And what did you think of my choices today? Thank you very much for watching, everyone. It's been a really fun show to do. Remember to spread a bit of movie cheer. And as always, I will see you next time.